Hello pattern lovers, you're welcome and welcome back. It's yet another exciting tutorial, and in today's video we'll be drafting this top. Yeah, just another stylish design. Technical, yes, but super easy to go about. This is an asymmetrical design top. We can see that it's both shoulder and off shoulder. So we'll be doing a combination of shoulder and off shoulder pattern to achieve this. And the sweet keyhole going on, that also means that we'll be using some technical contouring method for this top to fit so well. The kind of design that exposes your creative mind. So in this tutorial, I'll be taking you through the easiest drafting method for the perfect fit. And if you're interested in that, kindly watch this video to the end and let's get straight into it. So my pattern paper is ready and it's on fold, which means that this line that you can see here will also be going to this side at the end of the day. So now I have the shoulder line, the bust point line, the under bust line, the waist line, and then the top length. For the top length is basically from my waist to my hip line. Now I'm going to come to the top length and mark the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I'll mark the same thing on the bust point line, then mark a straight line this way. Then for the dart intake on the waistline, I'll be doing 0.75 on both sides. Then coming to the top length, I'll be doing half inch. 0.25 on both sides. That's half inch. Now I'm going to connect from the 0.75 I have on the waist to the 0.25 I have on the top length. Then take it from the 0.75 I have on the waist all the way to the bust point. This same way you can see me do it. Now, we'll be doing some contouring method on the under bust just to tighten it a bit. So from the already existing that leg on this side, I'll be doing 0.375. Then coming to this other side, I'll be doing 0.5 from the already existing that leg. Now I'm going to connect it this way using my curve to the bust point this way. This way we just tighten the under bust a bit and it won't just gape at that point. Now I'm going to connect from this tightening, under bust tightening, all the way to the 0.25 I have on the top length this way. And you can notice that it's not touching that intake we have on the waistline. Don't worry about that. So after doing that, now I'm going to clean off all the unwanted lines so that we know the line that we are going for. Okay, this way we don't have any breakage on the waistline. I already have the bust measurement on the chest line. I'll come to the waistline and take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the dart intake. I'm going to add that from the waist measurement. Now coming to the top length, I'll be doing the hip measurement divided by 4 plus the half inch dart intake. I will replace it. Now I'm going to connect these measurements together. First from the bust to the waist, then from the waist to the top length this way. I'll come to the bust point line on this side. I'll be coming down 1.5. That's the difference between my front length and the back length. And I'm going to slant it to the bust span just like this. Now we are basically done with the lines that we should have at the moment. So I'm going to trace it out for it to reflect on this other side. And even after doing that, I'll use my pencil to highlight the traces to have something like this. Okay, before we start now, I'm going to label this left and right so that we know which part we are working on first. Yeah, and which part has each design. Do you understand that? So now we have the right and then the left. We'll be starting with the left side. So I'll be coming up from the bust point 3.5 as the over bust line. Then I'm going to mark it out this way. From your bust point to go up to your over bust line. Then I'm going to measure the shoulder slope. I'll measure it and divide it into 2 equal halves. I'll mark it, then I'm going to connect it to the bust span line this way. On both sides of this line now, I'll be tightening the over bust and I'll be doing half inch on both sides. Okay, half inch here and half inch on this other side. Okay, this is not a bustier, so you don't have to do your regular over bust tightening. This way we are just tightening the neckline so that it will not gape. we won't be replacing it on the side. So it's just a gaping dart. Now from the crease line, which indicates the midpoint, I'll be coming out here 3.5 as the neck width. You can make it wider if you want. And I'm going to connect from that neck width of 3.5 to the first dart leg here. But first, we'll be drawing the dart lines. So I'm going to measure this and measure this other dart legs. The shorter one, which is usually the center one, I'm going to make it be the same length with the one I have on the side. Okay. Now I'm going to connect from that point to the neck width this way. Then instead of placing your curve this way, which is likely to expose your body, except that is what you want, what I'll be doing instead is to just go ahead and blend it in this way. At the end of the day, you can still use your curve, but I like to freehand it first, and once I have the perfect curve, I'm now going to use my curve just to show you that you can also use your curve to do this. But yeah, instead of placing it the initial way I did it earlier, you just do it this way. And right after doing that, I'm going to clean up the unwanted parts so that we know the one we are going for. Now, coming to this side from the neck width, I'll be coming in by 1.5. Okay, that's like a bridge. So you can do 2 inches if you want, but 1.5 works. Now to connect that line, I'll first fold in this dart, like close it. I'll fold one of the dart legs and place it on the other dart leg and tape it down, making sure that my under bust line and the waist line is just as straight as it comes. Now I'm going to use my straight ruler at this point, place it on that 1.5 I came in from the neck width, then going towards the under bust line and 2 inches or 2.5 away from the under bust line, just as you can see my ruler. Okay, so 2 inches or 2.5 from your under bust line down, and now we have this. The next thing now is to create that keyhole you see around the shoulder, that opening. So I did 4 inches first, which is like 1 inch from the shoulder tip. But first, I'll have to extend the shoulder slope this way. Then on that line from the shoulder tip, I'll be going out 1.5, which is like 4.5 measuring from this point. So I have 4.5 total as the opening you have on the shoulder. This is the off shoulder part, so you can do 2 inches from your shoulder tip. Anyhow, how wide you want it at this point. Okay, so now we have this. Now to connect the line there, I'll first have to measure this 4.5 now and then mark the midpoint this way. Now I'm going to connect on that midpoint to the bust span just like this. Okay, then now I will be going up from the bust point to my over bust line. I did 3 inches. This is an asymmetrical design, so you can decide to maintain the same 3.5 you used on the left side. Do you understand? Then on both sides of this line, I'll be doing 1/2 inch tightening. So 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'm going to connect it this way. Then I'm also going to through the dart legs. So I'm going to measure the two dart legs this way. Then the shorter one, I'm going to make it to be the same length or the same height as the longer one. Again, it's the shorter one is the center one. So I'm going to extend it this way. Then now I'm going to connect from this point to this point using a straight ruler. I'll connect this way. So after this now, I'll clean up the unwanted lines again so that you don't get confused. Now I'm going to connect from here to here. At this point, you can use your curve. You can also use a straight ruler if you want. But I'll be trying different position of the curve to see what it gives me until I have the perfect one. First, I curved it this way to that point. Then I changed the position of this curve to see what that would give me. So I placed it this way, and I think I'm feeling this particular one more. So I'll clean the initial one again, just so you know the particular line or curve you are going for. So by the time you're done, you can decide to throw these lines, which is not necessary. When you open it up, you're going to just cut it as you see it here. So you don't need to even trace it out because there's no point. You won't be needing it. Okay, but if you want, you can trace it out and then highlight it with your pencil so that you know the position and why you needed to close in the dart before connecting this. Yeah, curving this line out. Okay, so we are going with this. When cutting, we'll just cut it as it is here. And we won't even need to close in the dart to cut it out. We just cut the lines. We can see here that we marked out with the pencil. Okay, now coming again on this other side, I'm going to go out 1.5, then I'll connect it, blend it into the armhole. You're not going to just maintain that 1.5 all the way to the armhole. You're going to like make it wider going towards the armhole curve. Then you can decide to leave it this way or you blend it in. No one has ever died leaving this particular part like that without blending it in. So either you blend it in or you just leave it like that. It's even easier to sew it if you just leave it like that without having to blend it in. But after doing that, this is what it's looking like, and we're pretty much done with the upper part. Now coming to the down part, from the left hand side on this that leg, I'll be coming in by 4 inches. Okay, if you are taller, you can do 5 inches. Then from here on the crease line, from the top length, I'll be going down 2 inches. Now I'm going to use a straight ruler to slant, yeah, the 2 points to meet together this way. Then the next thing I'll be doing now is to come to this other side. From the waistline, I'll be coming down 5 inches, and this will be the top length. So this 5 inches now is the top length. First, I had to blend it in this way to meet the 2 inches I have on the center, but I wasn't feeling it. So this is what we will do. So we won't have to close in the dart. I'm going to just connect here to this first dart leg, then connect from the other dart leg to the 5 inches I have on the side, and this is better looking at it. Okay, now I'm going to come to this other side. From this side too, I'll be coming in 5 inches, the same length you're using on the other side. Then I'm going to measure this to the first dart legs and get the midpoint. So now we have the midpoint. Then whatever it is I have on this dart leg here, I'm going to also make sure I mark it on this other dart leg. Then I have 4 inches here. I'm going to come down here by, I did 5.5, and at the end of the day I had to do 6 inches, and make sure it's going towards that midpoint side that you measured earlier. Then you're going to connect it out this way. So like I said, I ended up doing 6 inches. So I have 4 inches here, yeah. Then coming here, I'll be marking 6 inches instead of the 5.5 I marked earlier. And again, make sure it's going towards the direction of the midpoint you have from the side of the top to the first dart leg. Do you understand? So after this, connecting it, this is looking more better. Okay, so my camera had to cut, but we'll be going back to the front. For now, for the back pattern, I have the shoulder measurement, the shoulder slope of 1 inch, the chest line. I contour the center back with about 0.75 up and down. Then measuring from the shoulder to the waistline, I have 15.5 here. And for the front pattern, I use 17 inches. That 1.5 missing is the bust dart. Then the length too for the front is 25, and here we have 23.5. The 1.5 is what we use as the bust dart. Now measuring from here, I will measure my bust span, then I'll measure from the center back to that point, whatever it is I have there, I'm going to take it up and also down. Then the dart length for the upper part is 6 inches. We'll be working with that for now. On both sides of this bust span line, I'm going to mark half inch. Then I'm going to connect it this way, up and down, and now we have the dart. Next, I'm going to start from this center back contour line and take the bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll come to the waistline and take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the dart intake. I'll replace it. Then I'll come to the top length and take the hip measurement divided by 4. Then now I'm going to use my ruler to connect these measurements. First, the bust measurement to the waist, then from the waist to the top length, placing my curve this way. Now I'm going to curve the armhole out this way. Then I'm going to use my tracing wheel to trace this out for it to reflect on the other side. Then I will be using my pencil to highlight the tracing so that we also see it on the other side. And after doing that, this is what I have. I also went ahead to label this left and right. Now if you noticed, the part we have as the left now is where we used as the right on the front pattern. Then the part we used as the right is where we used as left on the front pattern. That's the only way it will align. That's the only way the symmetrical design will align. Okay. Now, coming to the left side, which where we have the off shoulder part, I'm going to measure from the center, from the shoulder down to 10 inches, and that will be the neck depth for this bag. Now I'm going to blend it in from that 10 inches to the side this way. Then I'm going to extend this that line up to that point. Then on both sides now, I'm going to take half inch as gaping dart. Okay, half inch on both sides, and then I'm going to blend it into the that we have on the waistline. That's like taking the same value, that value we have on the waist up this way. Then I'm going to come to the side and also take out half inch just so this would just sit well on the body. Okay, we take out just on this side. Like I said, this is the shoulder part. This is the strapless part. So we are trying to make that part sit well on the body. Okay, now coming down here, I'll be coming down to 5 inches. Then on the center here, 6 inches, and that should be the length of the top for this bag. 5 on the side, which is the same thing we did on the front, then 6 on the center back this way. And I think we're pretty much done with this side. Then coming here now, I'm going to start from the crease line, which indicates the midpoint, and go in by 3.5 we are using as the neck width. Then I'm going to get the midpoint of this shoulder slope and connect it to the that line we already have on this pattern. Okay, now I'm going to measure the 3.5 again by using as the neck width. Then I will measure from the center, the same 10 inches I have on the other side. I'm going to also mark it on this other side. Then connect from that neck width to that 10 inches this way. Now measuring what I have here now from the neck width to this dart line, I kind of have 1.75. So I'll just start from that point and come in by 1.5, then connect it back, and that will be the neck width now. So you start from the midpoint of the shoulder slope, then you come in 1.5. The same bridge we used for the front pattern. Do you understand that? Now I'm going to take this dart length up. I have 6 inches. I'm going to take it up to 8 inches for now. Okay, so we are doing 8 inches as the dart length for now. Then I'm also going to extend the dart legs up to this 8 inches now, which we are using as the dart length. Do you understand that? Then I'm going to bring in the front pattern so that you understand the next step we are going to take and not get confused. We are trying to recreate the same thing we did on this part on the front pattern, like the keyhole. We're trying to make sure we are on the same track. Okay. Now I want you to understand that what we have here is also what we have here. We're trying to recreate the keyhole and every other line we have on that side. But first, I'm going to extend this shoulder slope this way. Then now, measuring the keyhole, that's the opening we have on the shoulder. I have 4.5. I'm going to also start here and measure the exact 4.5. Do you understand that? So now I'm going to connect from here to here with a straight ruler, just the same way you can see me do it. Then I'm going to start from this new line and go in by 1.5, the same thing we did for the front. This part will be sitting just below your shoulder point at your upper arm. Do you understand that? Then now I'm going to connect it, blend it into the armhole this way. Then again, if you blended in the front pattern, just go ahead and also blend this part. Otherwise, like I said, you can decide to leave it. You will not die. Now, I'm going to clean off all these unwanted parts so that you see clearly what we are going for. And then, like I said earlier, I did 8 inches before, but here now I did 7 inches. So the dart length now is 7 inches. Now coming to this side, I'll be coming down by 5 inches. Yeah. Then coming to the center back, I'll be coming down 6 inches. just the same thing we have on the other side. So using my curve, I'm going to also blend it in like I did on the other side, and I think we are pretty much done. I'm now going to cut this pattern out. I'll first cut out the back pattern, then we go back to the front pattern and also cut it out. Please, if you have to label this before cutting it all through, go ahead and do that. Indicate the side, the up, and even the center back so you don't misuse it. Then after cutting your pattern out, go ahead and throw the that part and shed off where you need to shed off, or you blend in where you need to blend in. Then I'll go ahead and cut this other side. Now to cut the front pattern, I'm going to open the waist dart all the way to the bust point. Then I will slash open the bust dart this way, apply my water glue in between here and place it on the bust point line just like this. Okay, then I'll go ahead and blend in the side seam line just like this. Then I'll repeat the same thing on this other side and go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern out. If I see you with another man, I don't wanna hear her say, I don't wanna hear her say you stay with another man. The way your body rotate, I don't wanna see you with nobody, 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 nobody. Don't wanna. And right after cutting the patterns out, I thought what's a better way to show you what the whole pattern looks like than to couple it. So I taped the pattern, the whole pattern down, and you can see that this is exactly what you ordered. Can you see? From the top all the way to the hem of this top, it's just giving what we ordered. Now, looking at this keyhole now, or this opening we have, it looks so small that you would even think that it won't give you what you have on the thumbnail until you put it on your body. After cutting your pattern, even while sewing, this opening is likely to look small, but remember there is no net coming to help hold it together. So trust me, it's going to get wider by the time you put it on your body. Then for the dark leg, if you notice the one on the thumbnail, it's going not following the same direction. So if you want, you can just go ahead and just cut your dart as you want it now. Because of the tightening we did at the overbust on the other side, if we had done that tightening on the waist here, from the waist dart here, you will see that it will give you what you have on the thumbnail. But I choose to do the tightening on the overbust on the other side. But yeah, this came out so well. Go ahead and transfer this to your fabric, add the necessary allowance, and happy sewing. And with this, we've come to the end of this amazing tutorial. Do let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll be seeing you in my next one. Bye bye.